The look, the tone in your voice. It's like, what did we just get done talking about? I don't remember.
See where I gotta work with people.
Yeah, yeah.
Welcome to Barf City episode 35. I'm Eric.
Kevin.
So, Kevin, I started thinking about something recently.
Yeah.
As recently, I mean like
What the heck is that?
2 hours ago.
Yeah.
And it's something I've noticed people are now complaining about uh genre tropes and what's that term? Um it's where you basically like give the audience something they want just to get them in the seats.
I don't know.
Fan service, basically,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I could see that.
and nostalgia bait, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are people now bitching about that really heavily? Because
Uh,
like,
yeah, I don't know.
because if you look at it for years after, of course, so much of a certain type of genre, the genre starts developing things that work and keep that genre going. So it becomes the norm to use that because it's always worked. Like there's some that, try to get out of that boundaries, but when they do, they create a whole new subgenre that uses that trope. So it's like everything becomes a trope unless it's a first time creation. And when it comes to media.
Yeah.
And then of course, technically after a while, like anything could be into being nostalgia bait because like with like the MCU, any returning character in the MCU, even if it's for just a cameo, like of course in Deadpool and Wolverine, they have a lot of cameos, and a lot of their people that show up make they have like they might say a line that's what from like what they said in their previous movie or whatever. And people are giving shit about that. I'm like, you do realize it's gonna happen when you get a character you want back, right? They're gonna say the lines that made them famous as that character.
Hmm.
It's kind of like, Batman saying, I'm Batman. It's gonna happen.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
It's like people were talking about I think it's Michael Keaton's Batman when he shows
Yeah.
up in Flashpoint, him doing the whole you wanna get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Yeah.
He says in the movie, I mean, yeah, it's nostalgia bait, but the thing is, that's the way he speaks because it's the way his character spoke when he was first created.
Yeah.
He doesn't speak any different. And of course, he has his few catch lines. And those are going to be his most popular catch lines from the movie when he was originally playing as Batman.
Why
But
did he
apparently,
say did he say that in a later mm, s- show or movie or something?
yeah, the Flashpoint movie, when Michael Keaton shows up in it to do his role as Batman,
Yeah.
he says it in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Uh, I would see that more as a kind of like a throwback, kind of
yeah.
what do they call that?
They're calling it now. They're
I'm trying to think of
classifying
the
it.
word that's called. I wouldn't call that like a fan service thing. I would call that as more of
They're calling it.
a wink and a nod, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, that's originally what it is. But like people are like, oh, they're just banking on people's nostalgia bait. It's all
Yeah.
nostalgia bait.
Yeah, I remember people complaining about that a lot in Halloween Kills, how they felt like they were doing a lot of they felt like they went overboard with a lot of stuff that did callbacks to some of the later sequels of Halloween, like from the 80s and early 90s.
Yeah.
And I
But
was like,
thing
well,
is,
I would see those more as like winks and nods of those movies than actual like, like fan service, in my opinion, anyway. So
also in my opinion, if they don't do that, like nods
yeah,
or make jokes towards like the previous iteration that they were playing, it's technically could just be confused as a different version of themselves.
yeah,
Like making those lines and nods and throwbacks, like full sure, like, oh yeah, 100%, no questions about it. That's that version of Batman. That's that Laurie from that universe timeline of fucking Halloween, considering there's multiple timelines of her.
yeah.
It's becoming like a little bit of an annoyance. No
Yeah.
one's happy no more.
I know that because they even complained about a few from Halloween 5, and I was like, well, I would argue there's not that many fans of Halloween 5, so I don't know if I would count that as fan service.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
yeah,
sure there are fans of Halloween 5, but I doubt there's like tons of them that are going to be like, hey, that's my favorite Halloween movie. I can't believe they did a weekend and nod to it. Awesome. I think,
yeah,
yeah, I think it was just sort of like realizing, yes, we know that these Halloween movies were there too, and here's a little cool little throwback to it.
yeah.
I think that's all it really is. So,
Thing is, Halloween is actually one of the few that I haven't hated a single one.
oh, really?
Yeah, I like all the Halloweens.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I just like Michael Myers. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Like I've had issues with aspects of him, like certain little things,
yeah.
but I don't, as a whole, no.
Yeah, before the 2018 version came out, I was actually one of those people that always said, well, I was like, well, I like the first one, but I don't really like any of the sequels. I was like, to me, they're all just kind of meh. I think my
Yeah.
problem was is I had such a high standard for the first one. Unlike, Friday the 13th, as much as I love those movies, I gotta admit that they're just kind of like, they're just fun movies to watch. You turn your brain off and
Yeah.
enjoy. But Halloween to me was actually legitimately a really great slasher movie and like done really well, in my opinion, anyway. So all the sequels just felt like they were sort of mediocre compared to the first one, and I just didn't really care for any of them until
Yeah.
the 2018 came out, and I watched it, and I was blown away by how much I liked it. I was like, wow, this is a really good movie. So,
Well, thing is, the 2018 one, like I only have the one major issue with it.
well, I have several issues with the movie, but I was like relieved on how much I actually liked it.
Yeah, I mean, as a whole, the movie's great, but
Yeah,
it's one of the few ones that I do have just like I have one nitpick.
yeah.
And of course, that's the mob scene when they're just all beating the crap out of them and just stop.
Well, that's in Halloween Kills, not in the
I
2000.
get that mixed up.
Yeah,
Which one
yeah.
was 2018?
That's the sequel to the first one. So that's where there's a lot of sequels to the first one.
Yeah.
This is where they completely redid the timeline and they made a direct sequel that took place 40 years after the first one in 2018. And then Kills is the direct sequel that literally picks up right where 2018 leaves off. So that's the one you're thinking of
Oh.
where he busts out of the firehouse and he
Okay, because yeah, the first one they lock him in the bait. That's right.
yeah.
And then I didn't have no problem with 2018's then.
Yeah, I have there's a few issues I have with it, but overall I still think it's a good movie. I just don't like it. I still would say it's not as good as the original, but I do like
Yeah.
it. But I like it. Like to me it's way better than all the sequels. So,
Yeah, a lot of it is a lot better than a lot of the way they've done a lot of the sequels. But again, like I like it, especially knowing that it's different timelines.
yeah.
Because it's like, oh, okay, I can pick and choose my favorite timeline that had the least issue of the whole timeline.
Oh man.
But like, it's like Friday the 13th would almost be that way if it wasn't for the fifth one. I just I can't stand the fifth one.
I don't know. I would rather watch Friday the 13th 5 over Halloween 5. To me, that movie's way worse. So,
Oh,
I mean, at least Halloween 4 was tolerable. There's actually quite a few fans of Halloween 4, though. They consider that legitimately a pretty good movie. I'm like, it has some good moments, but overall, the movie's just so boring, in my opinion. I was just like, I don't know. I just don't really care for it. So I don't
well,
really see what everybody else sees.
I like five because they were going more in that, Michael Myers has become something more than a man thing.
Yeah.
And they were really hammering it home, especially with his niece.
Yeah, and I didn't have a problem with that. I thought that was an interesting idea. I'm not sure if it was executed very well though.
Yeah, it's not it wasn't executed the best way, but they tried to continue that with six, I believe, didn't they?
Yeah, they sort of continue with
They
5
just
and then they have to do something else for 6 and then yeah.
because there was
6
two. Which one did she come back in? His niece comes back.
she's technically in all 3 of them, 4, 5 and 6, but she actually gets, well, spoiler alert for everybody. She actually gets killed in the very beginning of 6. So she's not even really in the movie that long. So
Yeah.
the movie focuses more on Tommy Doyle in part 6. So of
Yeah.
course he's played by Paul Rudd. So
Yeah.
which is interesting to see. But
But like there is a lot they could have done with the darkness aspect of like the non-human aspect with Michael Myers.
yeah,
But I think they just ended up dropping the ball.
6 was another one where I really liked a lot of the ideas. Actually, I thought it was actually really cool concepts. I just didn't think they really execute them very well. It felt like
Yeah.
they had like 3 different writers that wanted to do 3 different things, and so they all just kind of had to do this weird compromise. When I watched part 6, I was like, "What is the result of the?" But when they talk about like some of the, especially when they start talking about like the cult leaders and stuff, and there's just these
Mhm.
secret society. I'm like, this is a really cool idea. I just wish it was executed a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they had a lot that the Halloween did suffer from a lack of basically a lack of it's just get it done right.
Yeah.
But the bones are there. Like you could literally take any of the Friday the 13th, not Friday the 13th, Halloween movies and re-alter their stories 10 times better.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th can do the same thing, except for with five to me. Well, like
Oh, jeez.
the guy's revenge aspect, like his kid was a sweet kid with clearly autism,
Yeah.
but the dad being such a psychopath, no one knew he was a psychopath and had anger issues. Like that's a small town area,
Yeah.
and he's an EMT.
He hit it very well.
Yeah, and his death is like, why have a guy who's one thing is an EMT whose job is to help people in that town. When he snaps, why is he snapping at everybody in that town?
Yeah.
Like maybe if they had shown like, even though he was an EMT and tries to be a good guy, everyone in that town's just a dick to him anyways. And his son's death was just the final straw that broke the camel's back and just made him, snap. I can understand that, but like we don't know anything about him besides he's got an autistic son who gets killed by an asshole with rage issues, and now he becomes a psychopathic killer and
Yeah.
decides to use Jason as a scapegoat.
Yeah. I think my biggest problem with 5 is their movie. It's obvious that the movie is trying really hard to make you think that Tommy Jarvis got is Jason in that movie. And so, but in terms, they kind of, Tommy's character, once Jason starts going around killing everybody, Tommy's just kind of sitting on the sidelines through most of the movie. They're not really
Yeah,
showing him very much because they're trying really hard to make the audience think that it's him when it's not. And it's so obvious that it's not, to, or at least to me it was when I was
it
watching. I was like,
wasn't.
it's
Yeah,
not Tommy. It's so obvious that it's not. And at the end of the movie, they still try to make you think Tommy's going to become the next Jason, and he still does. I was like, no, he's not. Yeah, so that the idea gets thrown away really quickly. So
yeah. Also, like I get, being like scared and stuff of Jason and everything, but like they really did his character dirty. Because as a kid, he was cunning enough to use the story of Jason's past to fuck with his head.
yeah,
Like he's the kid that killed Jason
yeah,
because he knew he just decided to shave his head and act like kid Jason, and it fucked with Jason's head because Jason Voorhees was fucked up.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
all of a sudden now he's extremely fucked up in the head.
yeah.
It's like, I guess, I mean, he was already kind of an outcast himself, but like, I don't know. Like, I would see him having PTSD, but like, and they made his like heroic moments in the sense, like, I guess he had a heroic moment in the end
Yeah.
of five. They kind of made it feel really bland.
Yeah. His character, in my opinion, is much better in part six. They do a much better job
Yes.
with his character. Yeah, I like I said, I think his character suffers so bad in five because of what they were trying to do, and it kind of screws his character over.
Yeah, because you don't see a lot with him dealing with Jason.
Yeah, and almost every scene he's in is him just kind of acting like a jerk.
Yeah, because like thing is, like if they had him interact like Jason a couple times, even though it's technically not Jason,
Yeah,
and then by the end of it, he finally gets over his fear and make it more impactful. But he just kind of he knows that someone's killing people, and he sees the mask at the very end, and guy just like Jason, he has his issue, and then he gets over it. Like it's nothing.
yeah,
They make him feel like a broken character and an asshole all the movie, making you think, which will try to make you think he's Jason.
yeah.
And then, oh wait, hey guys, he actually ain't.
He's still the hero. Ta-da! Yeah,
Yeah,
kind of. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like, Jason Goes to Hell is better than five.
I think it's hard to compare those movies in my mind because they're so different. But I guess in entertainment value, I will say I prefer Jason Goes to Hell over five. So
Yeah, and
definitely
honestly,
more
Jason
entertaining
Goes to
movie.
Hell was not a good
That's
Jason.
kind of another problem I have with five is there's a lot of boring scenes where I feel like there's a lot of, and this is coming from someone who likes the first one, where the first like 30 minutes of the movie, there's just kind of a lot of waiting around. But those to me,
Yeah.
you got your build up, so I don't mind that. But with this, it's just kind of feels like you're waiting for no reason. I don't know. Just doesn't work as well in five. So
Yeah, like I mean, again, like there's some victims in five that I'm like, why? For
yeah,
one thing, he's going after a little kid who has nothing to do with anything.
yeah.
But
Which
just
is
because the
like
little kid
the
was there
best
to see his
character in the movie,
brother,
in my opinion, Reggie. Mm.
yeah, because like Reggie's brother was a like why? Like he had no contact with Reggie's brother until then. He just literally decides to kill him while he's in that fucking outhouse or whatever.
Yeah.
And on top of that, killing the grocery store owners.
Oh yeah, he does go to the grocery store owners. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I always kind of forget about their characters until I start watching the movie, and I'm like, oh yeah, I always forget their characters in this movie.
Yeah, I guess maybe they sold him some bad groceries. I don't know.
Maybe. Like, screw, I
Yeah.
never liked these guys anyway. You're down here.
They charge too much for bananas or what?
Yeah.
And then Nightmare on Elm Street. That one's a really back and forth on which movies I like.
Mm, I'm probably not the best judge of those movies. So
Because like I like the first one for sure. The first one was fucking great. And their use of practical effects and CGI at the time was phenomenally good. I can still watch it today and be like, oh, that's nice. But like when it comes to like the stupidity of like the Dream Warriors,
my avatar looks like he's just spaced out on drugs or something.
but like the aspect of like the Dream Warriors, that movie, that was just stupid.
Yeah.
Hype up these kids that they're gonna be
And
such great.
ironically, that's a lot of people's favorite is Dream Warriors. And I watched it and I was like, why is this people's favorite? I don't really get
Well,
it.
like, I like
But
the
again,
concept they're going with.
I'm probably not the best judge of those movies though. So
Well, the thing is, they build the kids up to be something that could potentially fight Freddy.
yeah,
But when they get their powers, they get their ass beat.
yeah.
Very anticlimactic.
Oh man.
So like, but yeah, I mean, it's just I know we like I was talking about people complaining about nostalgia baits and stuff like that. No, we're complaining about certain movies, but like when it comes to complaining about like a storyline aspect or execution,
Yeah,
that's cool. That's fine. But when your only way to attack a movie is fan service and nostalgia bait,
yeah. Well, it's fair to say that really have no nostalgia for any of these movies because I didn't grow up watching these movies. I watched them years later. So.
yeah.
Well, with the exception of Chucky, I do have nostalgia for the Chucky movies because I actually did grow up watching those movies and the first Scream movie because I did watch that when I was a kid. So
Yeah. Well, like the funny little thing about Chucky is for some reason, so they had a DVD set of Chucky movies. All the movies up to that point came was out in the DVD set, right?
yeah,
For some reason, they didn't include Child's Play in that set. It would literally just Child's Play 2 up to I think it was Seed of Chucky.
yeah. I think it may be a legal thing. I think in Child's Play done by a different production company
I
that
can't
released that one.
remember.
I can't remember
I
though.
think eventually they've now released Child's Play as a part of a new pack, but
Yeah,
the original big pack they had for the longest time did not have Child's Play in it. I'm like,
yeah,
that's kind of stupid, even if it's owned by a different group. Because when a new group's doing something, that means they have now owned the licensing,
yeah,
which means any movie before that is now theirs.
yeah. That's the way it should be, in my opinion. But I don't
Yeah.
know. It's weird with stuff like that. It's also the same reason why when you get a Friday the 13th collection, most of the time it does not include any of them after 8 because that's when they switched over to New Line Cinema instead of um, who was doing it in the first 8. I can't remember who did the production. Uh,
I
but
can't
yeah,
remember.
they switched over to basically the same company that produced does Freddy. So, which was they done that on purpose because they were trying to do a Freddy versus Jason movie because they wanted
Yeah.
to do that way back in like the late 80s, early 90s, and then they just could not agree on what kind of movie to make though. So finally in the early 2000s they got one.
Yeah. I find it stupid. People are like, oh, yeah, we'll sell it, but you can't use our other stuff that we previously done
Yeah.
before.
It's called being greedy. I was just like, well, I look at it this way. It's just like you're either going to make some money or no money at all, which is what you're making right now by the movie not existing. So or some from sales, from them selling that. I was like, why can't you
The
just
thing
agree to give
is,
them a percent of the sales or something?
well, it's because like, and that's why there's no Jason movies right now because it's been clogged up in fucking legal battles.
Yep. Which is
Because the guy who created Jason as a kid wants freaking money for him as an adult.
yeah, which is literally stopping people, lots of writers that want to make another Jason movie. It's literally stopping them from making one. Otherwise, they would have
Yeah.
already been some already released by now, which
Oh, there
really,
would have been a lot because
really,
like
which
thing
really sucks.
is
So
they wanted to make a resurgence of Jason movies when Halloween got a resurgence.
Yeah.
And because of this argument, for Jason has lost the highest kill count to Michael.
Yeah, I really was hoping they would release another Jason movie while we were still kind of on that slasher movie high for a while there, because we just got done with the trilogy of like Halloween, and then now we're
Mhm.
doing, and then they started doing Scream and stuff like that. I was like, oh, we're like on a slasher movie high
Yeah.
right now. They really need to release another
Well,
Friday
like
the 13th movie. That'd be awesome. So,
they thing is, it's funny
and the
because
Chucky TV show as well. So yeah,
Chucky's got a good success, and research and success with his TV series.
yeah.
The new Halloween trilogy was a great success. The Scream movies were good success, but Freddy and Jason are failing, lagging behind. And
Hmm.
those are the big five, and two of the big five are falling into nothingness. And like with freaking Freddy, no one wants a new Freddy because they're stuck in the original actor.
Oh, Robert England.
Yeah, like let Robert England relax, man. We can get a new fucking Freddy.
Yeah, I know, because when they wanted to make another one, the first thing they did was approach him. He was like, well, I'd probably do one more, but that's probably about all I'd want to do. And I was like, well, if they're planning on making some more series, then they should probably pick a new actor.
Yeah, hell, even Pinhead is fallen. It's trying when it tried to revive itself,
Yeah.
but that's probably because they tried to fully re-alter it, which was an alright movie, I guess. The acting was decent. It's just I just didn't like the story, and it just didn't feel scary or pinheady to me.
Yeah.
The execution was very lackluster.
Oh,
But I gave it a try because I like the Hellraiser movies.
yeah. Uh, I admittedly have missed chunks of those movies, especially the ones that came out in like the late 90s, early
Yeah.
2000s. There's a bunch of those I haven't seen. I'd need to eventually get around to watching them. So kind of behind on that series. Mm.
I I'm also interested in how if they're going to actually successfully resurrect the Crow series with this new movie that's coming out.
Hmm.
Yeah. I I don't know. Like I see the trailers and I'm like, it looks interesting. And I like the Crow stuff, but I'll give it a try. But literally, they keep failing at the Crow movies because
Yeah.
technically none of them are connected in the sense of any characters. They're only connected because they're all in the Crow story, Crow's world. They're all different crows. But I guess you can say that after the person who is the current crow successfully gets his revenge, he goes, he moves on
Yeah.
since technically he's dead.
I'm just curious what movie they're gonna make in the next in the Conjuring universe. What the next movie
Yeah.
is. I don't know if they're planning on making a fourth Conjuring movie or if they're gonna do another side movie or what. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, also they got Highlanders being resurrected too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're resurrecting the Highlander series. Apparently, they got a real good budget.
Hmm.
Last I had looked. What other series are being resurrected? Old series.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm. Oh, yeah. So, how was your weekend?
Not bad. Didn't really do much yesterday. I kind of just sat around, watched YouTube. I watched a little bit of streaming, not much though.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm worn out today.
Yeah. But today, I don't know. My today's been so It's a rainy day today, so it always
Yeah.
makes me sleepy when it's as soon as I got up this morning and sat down in my chair and I looked out the window and saw that it was raining. I was just like I immediately just felt sleepy after that, and I've just been sleepy all day, which is why I
Yeah.
ended up taking a nap. So
Yeah, I like looked at the time. I was like, "Oh shit, I need to get a hold of Kevin. We need to record an episode." I was laying on the couch, got warm and cozy, and now I was about to pass out.
yeah, I know, right? It reminds me of a comedian joke because he was talking about he was just like it's like you ever have so many plans for the day and then you see that it's raining, you're like, oh, never mind. I guess all my plans are getting canceled. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I've done that many times.
Well, like also like I got like I'm energized today. Like I can, I want to do shit.
Yeah,
But dude, I fucking hurt from packing up shit and moving things around yesterday.
I bet. I hate moving. That's one of
Dude,
my
it feels weird. My
well, I
wife's,
hate moving the stuff. I don't
yeah.
mind moving. I just don't like moving all the stuff. So, mm,
Well, like it's weird because so we still have a couple rooms left to pack, which
yeah.
there's small stuff that we're gonna handle out throughout the week. And because my in-laws came and helped with the bigger stuff. I'm looking around this, the craft room slash office, and everything's packed in totes
Excuse
and
me.
put away neatly. Like there's room in the floor. I can actually see the floor. It's like, oh wow, it's no longer cluttered.
I know, right? Yeah, every time I move, I'll get my new place nice and organized. Everything will look so good. And then, like, just over the years, it slowly becomes more
Yeah.
chaotic.
Well, over there with the house we're buying, the living room and the master bedroom,
Yeah.
it all used to be a garage, so the floor is concrete.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's carpet over concrete. I'm like, ooh,
Hmm.
workout space. Don't have to worry about damaging the floor. Yeah. There's gonna be a few ins and outs of things I'm gonna have to do when we get moved in and settled in after a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But since I'm on that news, so for anybody watching, there will probably not be a video next week because I will be in the process of moving to a new home.
A new home.
Yes, a new house.
The look, the tone in your voice. It's like, what did we just get done talking about? I don't remember.
See where I gotta work with people.
Yeah, yeah.
So, some interesting little game news,
Oh, yeah.
and I guess slightly other media with it. So, Warner Brothers Discovery, because you know how they joined with Discovery, whatever. So now it's Warner Brothers Discovery. They finally
Yeah. Excuse me.
have decided because they're in so many billions of dollars in debt that they're going to loan out their IPs to other companies like gaming companies to make video games and shit to try to make their money back finally instead of just like being so stingy with it. We're not getting any good games. So maybe we'll finally get some like really top tier like DC games.
Yeah.
He took so long to respond.
Sorry,
Just
I was taking one of my pills.
ugh. There he is, everyone on recording. He's being over there popping pills on the podcast.
Oh man.
But yeah, so they're
Yeah,
trying to
there's
get all.
probably a
Mhm.
lot of people that want another like the games I hear the most praise from is usually those Batman Arkham games.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people praise those games.
I know
They look fun. I've never played them.
they're good.
But they do look fun, but I've just never played them. So
Yeah, they're pretty fun. But like I know there's a Wonder Woman game in the works currently. It's been in the works for a little bit. So it feels like we're finally might get some more open world games because like, Insomniac does so well with their Spider-Man games.
yeah,
So maybe we'll get like
I
a
still hadn't played
Flash
those either.
or
But those do look really fun. They look
yeah.
like a probably an even better version of like what Spider-Man 2 and 3 were on the PlayStation 2. So
Yeah.
mm,
And like maybe we'll get a game kind of like that fused with the Arkham Knights for like Superman or Flash.
yeah,
You know, because yeah, they're OP characters, but like like a lot of people want to play as those OP characters in the actual like full open world storyline.
yeah,
It'd also be cool to get a Green Arrow video game. You know,
yeah.
like I'm keeping an eye on that Wonder Woman game because if that's anything like what they did, Insomniac did with Spider-Man or what they did with the Arkham series,
Hmm.
then that's like, oh, we might get more. Because like I like Wonder Woman. I mean, I'm probably not going to fully play it, but I'm going to definitely watch gameplay of it.
Yeah.
And that's because, I like Wonder Woman. She's one of my fucking favorite DC characters, but I don't really want to play a video game as her.
Yeah. If it looks interesting, I'll try it out. But
Yeah.
I would have to see it first. So see
Well,
if it
because like
my
for
kind
me,
of.
it's just like that. It's not probably gonna be like Wonder Woman as a character I love, but as playing as her, I don't really want to. I'm
Yeah.
just that's her movesets aren't just like to my play style.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see
It
that.
could be they might change that because I mean they could alter her fighting style with the game, so I'm definitely going to have to keep an eye on that aspect. But she just doesn't fight the way like I'm good at in video games. So
Yeah.
because I
Yeah,
mean,
that's definitely one of those games I'd have to see the gameplay on to see if
mhm.
I feel like it would be my cup of tea or not.
Because yeah, she's technically a brawler in a sense, but she's a sword and shield user and the whip and stuff. But
Yeah.
I don't really play Indiana Jones games because I'm not good with using whip stuff.
Yeah, I
Like,
kind
I
of
don't
had
like
that
the
problem
mechanics.
with Darksiders 3. I loved
Yeah.
the first two, but then in the third one, when you play as Fury, she uses that whip, and I loved the game. It was a lot of fun, but admittedly, some of the fighting was a little frustrating for me because it's just not my play style. It's hard for me to be like offensive and use that whip like that. So
Yeah, because like her rope,
I'm used to more like
lasso
the
through.
way War plays, where he just gets in there and just beats the crap out. That's my
I
playing
mean,
style. So
I might, depending on how they do it, because I mean, she does, use a sword and shield and she does punch.
yeah,
But I feel like the lasso truth has to be a very big, like, using thing. But she uses it a lot as a weapon.
yeah.
But, and I think it's made by the same people that made the Lord of the Ring games. The one where you play as the dude that dies and he's connected with the spirit of that elf, Shadows of Mordor.
Oh yeah, I've never played that game, but I know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently I guess it's if I remember correctly, it's being made by that company.
Hmm.
So, and they're known for open world games.
Yeah.
So,
Say, well, yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about that game. So
oh
if
yeah.
they did that game, they'll probably do good with this one. So
So, like, I'm decent with art games with archery, but like the reason I was so good with like the Assassin's Creeds or Arkham Knight is because I could do something stealthily and then jump in, surprise most of the enemies, and then just combo brawl and dodge.
yeah,
And like the Flash, I could play as because it's quick moving in and out, just like playing with Spider-Man. And then Superman is just a brawler and has powers. So
yeah,
Wonder Woman just ain't my play style as much. But
yeah,
again, like I said, I'll have to watch the
yeah.
gameplay when it finally comes out because it might slightly change it to where it feels more more like a brawler or a sword fighter.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of Darksiders, did you hear that they're Well, so it's supposed to be anyway. They actually didn't say what kind of game it was. But it was revealed that it was a new Darksiders game, so everyone's just
Hmm.
kind of assuming that it's Darksiders 4. And but I imagine it probably is. But yeah, they did a little teaser like a couple weeks ago.
Thing
That
is, like, I like playing as Fury, and I like, the Death's Daughter and stuff. I like the storyline.
yeah.
But I was kind of disappointed because, we play as War, then Death. I was hoping to play as Pestilence or Famine next.
Yeah, yeah, Strife. He'll most likely be the one for the fourth one, assuming that they're gonna make the fourth one. Said some people had a theory. They were like, "How do we know this isn't gonna be like a remake or something?" I was like, "Well, I don't think they would do that, but I guess it's possible."
I
I was like,
mean,
I would think they would do the fourth one, and then the fifth one you're supposed to play as all of them. I'm not sure exactly how that's gonna work if you're gonna rotate between the characters or what, but
we've seen that utilized a lot, like within Spider-Man
yeah,
2 with Miles Morales. Certain missions can only be done as either Peter or Miles, and then there's some missions it doesn't matter which one you choose.
yeah. Which those games it makes a little more sense because at least their fighting style is somewhat in the same ballpark at least. So
And also with GTA, you just switch characters and
yeah,
continue the story from
between
that.
Franklin, Michael, and yeah, Trevor.
Yeah. So it's not gonna be hard to do, but players are probably, or they
Yeah,
might give it to you
that's the
option
only.
where
I feel like that would probably be the easiest approach is just let you swap characters in different
Mhm.
areas and stuff. Like maybe make it a bit, even if it's like semi-open world, sort of like what they did with the second one. A lot of people refer to that game as an open world game. I was like, well, it is, but it's kind of more of a semi-open world game.
Yeah.
There's like areas that you traverse through. But
Well,
anyway,
even in the first one, it was still open world linear path.
right.
So, but yeah, I feel like what would also be really cool is if you could have, like, up to four friends playing together, and each just pick which one they're good at.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting idea, sort of like a Four Swords Adventures kind of
Because
approach.
they did it with Assassin's Creed Unity.
Yeah,
Each person can play on, and they play as a different one of the different members of the assassin group.
yeah,
So that'd be an interesting aspect to see. Getting to play, have buddies that, like, one could play as, war and all that, and the other plays. I mean, because like those, because the weapons between all three, all four of them are completely dramatically different.
yeah. Probably the two that play the most similar are War and Death, but there's still quite a few differences between the two, though.
Yeah.
So, especially Death is a bit more, it plays a lot sort of like Prince of Persia. It's a bit more, he's better, a little bit more better with platforming and stuff like that. And then War is a bit more brutal. And then, of course, Fury, she's really good at dodging and being very like smooth moving and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
then I imagine Strife, he has guns, so he'll probably be good with gun weapons. So
Yeah, I'll probably play as Strife a lot if that was the
yeah,
case.
I imagine it'll probably be a little bit like Devil May Cry style. So
Yeah. Because I would love to set up like combos, because like with War, you had a lot of like send them up in the air moves.
yeah,
Strike that with like Strife, have one of your buddies like yeet someone up, and that Strife just starts shooting up in midair.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm thinking of all the
I would
combos.
definitely play as War. He's just my play style. I just love that brutal style play. So
Yeah.
get in
I'm
there and just smash the crap out of enemies. Yeah,
yeah, I like that play style. I'm really good at that play style.
yeah,
But you give me a character that can just is quick and able to dodge and stay range, I'm really
yeah.
good at that too.
Yeah. I could see myself playing as Strife as well. Really even Death too, but Fury would probably be my last pick. Not because she's a girl, it's just really has to do with her play style. She would just be my last pick. So
Yeah. Again, yeah, it's because I'm not good with that quick, like, move around. It's probably what, like, I could play Spider-Man in a sense, and that's just because in the, Insomniac games you got a lot of dodge features.
yeah,
The games like Darksiders, where you don't have like sense where you're going to tell you the dodge.
yeah,
I get too wrapped in combos and forget to see any other characters with fast people like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not a good close range DPS or mid range DPS.
Yeah.
I'm a good far range DPS or a good tank. I mean, I guess there's one DPS class that I'm good at, and that's a martial arts class.
Yeah.
Because like I played that kind of class in oh, what's it called? Something desert, I believe. It's a Asian MMO, and they have a character that's a martial artist, and he even does the Hayadouken. But him I was good at, but he's also more stiff DPS combo.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's not like the quick moves, like you're gonna do a ton of moves in one setting. You can just do a quick power combo and then back out.
Yeah.
That I'm good with. I'm just, which is probably like I'm probably won't even play honestly, I might not even be able to play a Flash video game. I mean, I could probably run around the city as him, but I don't know if I could fight as the Flash because he's just so much DPS, and I'm like zero focusing on my enemies and gonna get caught
Yeah.
so fucking easily.
I'm actually trying to imagine what a Flash video game would even play like. It would be
Yeah,
interesting
it would.
to see. Huh.
Well, like I got a kind of a hint because on Roblox, some people had made like PvP Flash games,
Yeah.
and you do run super fast. So
I'm picturing like Sonic the Hedgehog or something. I don't know.
yeah, well, like with that, you kind of do a lot of circle around, hit, circle back, hit,
Yeah.
spin, throw a lightning bolt. Use your spin the arms to make the tornadoes. Kind of like I might be able to play as a flash game as long as it's not like closed. Like if they make sure you can run away from the enemy, then run straight back and just keep hitting them back and forth like that. I could probably do it that way, do drive-bys.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I could just stay there and do like, or like if I come up, stop, do a quick super combo, run away, come back, do another quick combo, run away, come back. But like that's one reason I couldn't probably do Wonder Woman because she's fast, she hits you, but she switches between her weapons so quickly. And I'm like, I don't think I can keep up with that pace on the weapon switching. I can keep up on moving back and forth and hitting people and doing combos, but I'm not a good weapon switcher.
Oh, really? Hmm.
No, I'm not a good weapon switcher. I'm very much my biggest weakness in video games is I have to get a weapon type and stick with that type and only use that style, that type.
Hmm. Interesting.
But any games where you switch weapon, like in the Batman games, when you have to like I watch people like switch different batarangs in the fights and stuff and do this. I'm like, I can beat the game, but I'm mostly just punching. I can't do all the tech and stuff, switching this and this ability. Like I'll play with GTA, and people like will be shooting at you also, and they'll switch their guns and shoot a different gun at you.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like I have to take cover, then switch my gun, and then start shooting at you again with a different weapon. I'm not good at just combo switching weapons.
Yeah.
So someone who's very weapon tech heavy, I might actually have issues playing the Spider-Man games because they can switch their no. I guess I wouldn't because you can stick with one type of webs. You don't have to constantly switch.
Yeah. I don't recall ever having any issues with the PS2 versions, but again, those are older. So,
Yeah.
those it was just more like once you got close to the enemies, you mostly just did punching and kicking,
Yeah.
and then but sometimes you could do web techniques too, where you like shoot the web and then take them and like and swing them around or something, some kind of
Yeah.
crazy
Like
combo.
if it's like that I can do. Like I can sit there and punch, and then if it's just like a single button that will activate the web, and you hit a different button with it to do like a different technique,
Yeah.
that I can do. I can do combo techniques but I can't do like, say with like, Batman, I'm punching you, kick you away, start throwing a batarang, then switch over to like maybe a Sonic batarang real quick and throw that at someone. I couldn't do something like that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
couldn't in the
remember
middle of
having
a
a lot of
fight
fun with,
switch the
oh, sorry.
yeah, I couldn't in the middle of a fight switch what weapon is in what button slot.
Hmm.
Like I can
Uh,
do
I feel like I did a lot of that in Jack 2 and 3, so maybe I'm just used to it. So I don't know.
I didn't do
Yeah,
a
where
whole lot of
you
that.
constantly switch between weapons, but the way they organize it, they make it pretty easy to do
Yeah.
because you just use your D-pad to switch your weapons, and then you can also, of course, switch to doing punching and kicking, and also switch to, or you can use Dark Jack and do
Yeah.
that as well.
Well,
But
like
yeah, I don't know.
I
Maybe that's why. It would probably depend on how the game would handle it. If they made it kind of awkward to switch weapons, then yeah, it'd be really hard to do. So,
yeah. And Wonder Woman, of course, I know she's got because she literally will switch between sword and shield to the lasso to using her bracers and her fist. She's got her flight, she's got her super strength, she's got a lot going on. I'm like, I don't know if my brain can like work that into combos because there'll be a lot of switching in and out potentially.
yeah.
I don't know. Again, that's another reason I'd have to see the game and see how the gameplay and how they made her fight.
Yeah, that's actually one reason why I can only, when I'm playing like an action adventure game, especially one
Mm.
that's an action game that's real intense a lot of times during the combat, I typically can only play those games for like so long at a time because I eventually get so tense it actually starts to stress me out and I
Yeah,
have to actually stop playing versus when I'm playing like a an open world RPG where I have in between stuff like I'll be doing combat for a while, but then eventually I'll be switching over where I'm just like maybe looking around at stuff and I'm not, I'm cool and I'm calming down. But with
yeah,
a lot of action adventure games, it's like once you finish one section, there's more combat in the next section. So it's like a on constant going thing most of the
yeah.
time. Mm.
Well,
Like
it's
I
like
said, I get really tense sometimes. Mm.
like in like some solo games where you switch weapons, like Starfield or Skyrim or them or Fallout games, the world freezes for a second as you go to switch your weapon out.
Yeah, yeah,
That I can do because
yeah.
I in Starfield I was shooting with a rifle and then I jumped forwards, had it set up to turn around, and hit the up pad to pull up the weapons menu, and then I switched over to a grenade launcher as my character, and not my and then I just, as you get back out, your character's already finishing turning around, and then I just shoot again. That I can do. That's probably why I could potentially play the Flash because if you can especially go into Flash time where everything's slower around you and you can like I had to be able to process what I'm doing each time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's understandable.
Like I have quick reaction time to fighting. Like if I'm doing a character that's sword and shield, I can turn around, react, blah blah blah. But if I'm having a character that needs to switch to this, and this to deal with this character, and I get surrounded by them, like that was the only problem in Arkham Knight that I got sometimes overwhelmed with is when they get a bunch of enemies.
Hmm.
Because some enemies you can't just counter. Some enemies you have to do a dodge, which I would get overwhelmed because I'm doing the counter, and then I'll have to end up immediately to do the dodge technique against this enemy, and then I get caught by this enemy, and I'm just like I can start getting overwhelmed with that.
Yeah. Yeah,
And I feel
that's
like
sort of an issue I have with Dark Souls. Like Dark Souls to me is a bit tedious to play because the idea of the game is they're trying to make every enemy feel sort of like a boss battle. You can't just
yeah,
like bash the button. You can mash the button. You have to like take your time, dodge, block, hit, block. And it after a while, like it's fun for a while because it makes the battle feel more engaging than most games would, but it
mhm,
does start to get a little tedious for me after a while. After a while, it's like,
yeah.
every single battle. It just, yeah, I know people love those games and I like them, but I have to admit it is a little tedious when I play. So
Yeah, so I feel like that's a good chance the Wonder Woman's game is gonna be like that. It's probably still gonna be a great game,
yeah.
but it's probably not going to be my style of fighting.
Yeah.
Now, like, of course, with Flash or Superman or Batman, like even Batman, some of his aspects of fighting, I wasn't fully able to handle. And that's primarily with him is when, you're in a section of different types of characters you have to respond a different way with. That game had a bad habit of, one character will go do something as another character's go do something. You can block one or dodge one, but you can't do both. And that just frustrates the hell out of me. But with Superman, as long as it's like certain buttons are going to activate, like the heat vision and ice breath, like all that stuff,
Yeah.
I'll be fine with. But again, if with Superman, if I'm having to constantly switch his abilities out, I ain't gonna be able to keep up with playing as Superman. So I'm probably the same with Flash too, because there's a lot you can do. Like with those characters, as long as if they do not have a pre-made button for their abilities, I ain't gonna be able to play them at all.
Yeah.
Like if the Wonder Woman game comes out and you're Sword and Shield, and you hit a button, and she puts it up, and she starts doing lasso combinations with this specific button. Yeah, I could probably do that pretty well. I would be able to play that game very well. But if I have to actively hit a button and then select the new weapon, I can't do that. Unless it's a selector that slows down that freezes the game for a split second and then you restart it. But if it's like real time switching, I'm not that good.
Yeah.
Heck, I was never even that good in Call of Duty at doing that. And that's just one button you hit to switch between your weapons.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person I gotta take cover real quick, switch, and then go out. That's my weakness.
Yeah. I can see that.
But like, and it's weird because like again, it's like a lot of that's probably because like I'm used to playing on PC with like MMOs where every ability has a button slot and I know where every ability is and when to hit it at what point in time in the fight.
Yeah.
So switching quick switches is just not my thing.
The great thing about PC games, especially if they let you remap your buttons, which most of them do, there's only a few I've played that don't really do that. But if I can remap the buttons to more my liking, then it's even better because
Yeah.
I could put it where I would think to hit that button, instead of like what the developers think, oh, well, this is the best button for it. I'm like, maybe for you, but not for me. I want mine right here. So,
Yeah. Also, like again, like going back, playing World of Warcraft, stuff like that. You have abilities that are set up in a different spot where to activate them, you just click on them with the mouse real quick. So you get your combos down. You go this ability to this ability to this ability to this ability to this ability. You know where every ability's at in your hotbars, and in what order you're clicking them in for what effect.
yeah.
And like I have it specifically said a certain way, and I had it literally organized to okay, this is for small NPC, NPCs. This is the order I click them in for boss battles. This is the order I click them in when if I'm on a group or solo. Because I knew exactly when to hit it and where to hit it.
Yeah.
It's not me just coming up with it on the fly. I've already planned it out. So yeah, I don't get the full. I don't fully utilize a lot of the games mechanics when it comes to like in Arkham Asylum. I didn't really use its full mechanics well. I primarily just literally uh I would set up a trap because I can sneak around. I'm good at sneaking and parkour, climbing around and all that, and then jumping up enemies and beating the shit out of
Oh, I'm terrible at that. I'm terrible at sneaking around in games.
them.
It's probably just because I don't like it. So I just don't get any enjoyment out of it.
But like literally with the Spider-Man game, I would literally have to set up, okay, this is the style of web shooters I want to probably use the entire game and just roll with it like this. Unless it's like a setup, like I'm setting up like, oh, okay, so this type and this type of guy. Okay, I can switch to this, and this. this is what I'm going to use for this specific battle. That I can do when I have multiple options, as long as I can just like take a second to pick what I want for each fight.
Yeah.
But again, I'm just not that good at quick changes and I wish I was.
I feel like I did the change. Well, I guess they weren't really weapon changes though. I will say, because I was about to say Fable, but Fable you have like your weapon, but then you also can punch, and then you can also use like your will to do like your lightning powers and et cetera, et cetera. And so, but that the way they organize the buttons again, that's another game where they kind of make it easy to
Yeah,
do that. And like a
these are
like
already preset buttons.
yeah, and like it said, it's not like you're actually switching out a weapon per se. You're just switching your what you're fighting with, styles of
Yeah.
fighting. So, but yeah, so
Yeah, because like with Fable, if I find
that's the
an
kind of variety I like.
attack that I really liked,
Yeah,
I can just keep it activated and just hit the button for that attack whenever I want to add
yeah.
it in the combo.
Because sometimes I'd have an enemy over at the distance and I would shoot him with lightning real quick and then move back while one enemy was laying on the ground and then move back to the other enemy fighting them with my sword. So I like that's the kind of variety I like. Like I said, when there's a game where I'm having to like switch a weapon or something that can it depends on how they handle it. So
Yeah,
like I
like
said, I handled it well in the Jack and Daxter series, but they made it easy to change your weapons. But
yeah,
some games, if they make it kind of awkward, or at least awkward for me anyway, then it's gonna be kind of hard. So,
yeah, because like in the Fallen Order Jedi Survivor games and stuff, like it was easy to go from double blade to single blade because you know you just hit a quick button and you just switch your combo real quick. So
yeah,
basically, what I would do is I get in the fight, I would parry, knock them back, and then quickly switch because it's just one button to switch.
yeah,
And then in the second one, you get to choose if you want to be a double blader, dual wield, or single player, whichever one single will, whichever combo of those two of those three, you can pick two of those three. And I would typically stay dual wield and double blade, so I can just basically hit a combo with my double bladed, and then in the midst of it, hit the button and he just splits it apart, and I can go into dual wield. That kind of switch up I can do it because it's just one weapon just being taken apart or put back together and does different aspects of itself.
oh yeah, yeah,
But if I was like, if he had like 5 lightsabers on him that are all different styles of fighting because their style of light hilt or whatever, no, I wouldn't be able to do that very well.
oh come
It's
on,
also it's also with that one, like their force abilities also like,
looks like my avatar's praying.
yeah,
I
you do have gods in your background.
know, right? I'm praying to all three of them, I guess.
But yeah, it's like I don't utilize the full aspect of the force abilities a lot of times because I just can't do it like that.
Yeah.
Probably just stick with force push and pull.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. There's many games where I don't really utilize the variety of certain things because those things just aren't my play style. I'll stick with what works best for me, and that's just kind of what I stick with.
Yeah.
So,
Like, I mean, I could easily make those in my play style. Like, there's not much weapon types that aren't in my play style
yeah,
or ability types. But it's the aspect of if I have multiple ability or weapon types on one character, if it's not one of those, like I can pick it before the battle or whatever, and it's, you have to utilize it in a switch active combat, I can't switch active combat with it.
yeah,
Like I can't, like, even again, Call of Duty is a good example because even though it's a simple one, I've seen people like run up with their assault rifles, slide, switch to their secondary real quick and shoot again. I can't do that. I can slide and shoot somebody. I can come around nowhere and shoot you, but I'm not good at quick switching, especially if I run out of ammo. I'm like, oh, I gotta move real quick and then switch. I can't just do switch. Because I've seen people do that. As soon as that clip runs out, their last clip, they instantly switch to their secondary.
Yeah. My biggest problem with games like Call of Duty is there's just way too much moving around. It's like
Yeah.
I'm constantly swapping from like hiding behind crates to moving over here to going upside this building, in and out of it. And it's just like I think it messes with my head a little bit, and I'm just not very good at that play style.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mm.
that's just it's just like an issue I have with it, I guess. It's a me thing.
Yeah. But I'm hoping it's good because if Wonder Woman hits off, though, honestly, even if I can't fully play it, I might just buy it just to give, Warner Brothers a help get it to do that more with other characters.
Yeah. Maybe if I buy this game, they'll make some more games with other characters.
Yeah. I
Yeah, I'll
mean,
definitely watch some gameplay on YouTube when it comes out to see what I
oh
think.
yeah.
So,
I mean, if the switching, the utilizing the weapons and the abilities are more into my standard doing it, hell yeah, I'm playing it.
yeah.
Also, I mean, who doesn't want to walk around and look at some Amazonian ass?
Oh God.
I'm just kidding. uh,
And on that note, yeah, I think that's about all the time we got for today.
yeah, we'll leave it on Amazonian ass.
Yeah.
Dead ass. All right, everyone. Comment, like, subscribe on YouTube. I still haven't seen any comments, so I mean, we also only have 8 subscribers, but on
Yeah.
YouTube. And
Yeah.
again,
Oh,
if you, and I guess on Spotify, just follow on there, and if you're enjoying it, and if you're on
only if
Spotify,
you're enjoying it though.
yeah, if you're not enjoying it, just let us know you're not enjoying it. I won't take it to, I won't take it to heart. He might. He's a little crybaby about that stuff.
Yeah, I'll cry myself to sleep, but I'll get over it.
But if you are only listening on Spotify, if you want to leave a comment since we don't know how to do the comment stuff on Spotify, you're more than welcome to hop over to YouTube real quick and make a comment. And I
Yeah,
guess follow us on Instagram and
and play my game.
play his game. I can't wait till my book and tabletop come out and I can start promoting my stuff.
Well, hurry up and finish it so you can promote it.
Unlike you, I'm a perfectionist and I want it to be good.
Mhm. I worked on that game before this podcast even existed.
I know you worked on it, what, 3 years almost?
Yeah, quite a bit. And the next game's going to take me way longer too. So,
All right, well, have fun, everyone. Bye.